Welcome back to the Barley Lads. I'm Zane.
And I'm Bryce.
And today we are drinking a lot of cheap-ass beer.
Mainly because it's summer. And who doesn't love drinking a cheap-ass beer in the summer?
That's right. So these are all what you would probably call sessionable beers. These are all, I think, under 5%. And most of these come in 12, 18, 24, 30 packs, depending on where you're at and where you can get them. But these are all going to be fairly cheap, except we do have a couple of local beers that you can get here in the Columbus area that are brewed here in Ohio. So,
what are those? The Hilltop and the Pils?
And the Cheetah out of Rhinegeist.
Okay.
So we're actually going to start here on my right, your left. And so we're going to start with the Cheetah. So Cheetah is out of, like I said, Rhinegeist out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, the Cheetah is one of my favorite beers in the summer. Usually if I'm at a brewery, or not a brewery, but like a beer hall or restaurant, they have it, I'll pick up a Cheetah.
Yep. Cheetah is kind of a traditional lager, somewhat sweet, swift in body and mind. Cheetah sprints ever forward. So kind of the flavors you get. Not super hoppy. It has a subtle sweetness to it, and you certainly can taste the malt, but nothing super dark, not rich in flavor. But you could easily drink, 8, 10 of these while you're camping. Maybe that's too many. I don't know.
Your doctor would probably not approve of 8 to 10.
But certainly a couple on the mower.
Maybe for the weekend, 8 to 10.
Yeah, right. Camping. Okay.
So now we're doing Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. This was introduced, I think, in 1975, so it was one of the first light beers. And this is coming from Miller, which is out of Milwaukee, but it's part of the Miller Coors family, I guess you could call it. So Miller Coors conglomerated in the early 2000s.
But they'll brew this all over the place, right?
I think they do have multiple breweries, certainly around the world. I don't know if they have as many breweries like Bud Light, where they have, like Columbus here has and Anheuser-Busch, but I'm not quite sure about Miller. So anyway, let's dive in.
Already dove in before you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I drink
fine.
Miller all the time. Zane hates
I don't
Miller.
like it. I don't. Yeah. I realize this is probably bias in terms of what I grew up drinking, which is probably a lot of these, but it's just not my favorite. I honestly, I always feel like it tastes a little skunked myself.
Yeah, am I in the front or the back?
You're in the back.
All right. Yeah, why didn't Natty make the cut here?
I couldn't find a single. Got a single
Natty comes in 30 packs only.
Yeah, 30 rack. Yeah, Rack City. Yeah, we drank a lot of Natty in college. We've kind of outgrown that. What did you say?
No.
You still drink Natty?
If it's presented to me.
Well, okay, that's different. But you're not buying it.
No.
Oh, God, no. Okay, so this is Hilltop Heritage Lager, originally brewed by, I think it was called Six String Brewing. They closed down 5-7 years ago out of Columbus. They were then bought, at least the recipe and the name, because Hilltop was by far their most successful beer, but they were bought out by a company in Detroit, I think. I don't know how it's changed hands since then, but it's now brewed by Royal Docks, which is in Canton. So at least it's back in Columbus, but Hilltop is actually the neighborhood that it was brewed in. So the Hilltop area of Columbus.
So it was
you've heard of
the Hilltop?
Yep. Used to drive past it all the time, really close to my aunt's house. So
yeah.
I feel like this has a little bit more flavor.
Yeah, this one is
less watery.
It's smoother than the Cheetah.
Yeah.
I would say it's about on the same level as Miller Lite. I don't know why. If you like this one, you don't like Miller Lite. It's just purely psychological.
Yeah, because F. Miller. I don't know. I would say it's comparable, but Maybe it's because, to me, I enjoy something that at least feels craft.
Yeah, so next is Coors Light.
No, this is the next.
Yeah, I know. We're nexting to Coors Light.
Oh, hilarious. No, so this is Bud Light. Or is it just Bud Next? Bud Light Next. So this is Bud Light Next.
Yep.
The first, as far as we know. Yeah, not a beer. Yeah, that's fair. First, zero carb beer. So it still has 4% ABV, which is at least somewhat comparable to Bud Light. Who knows what they do to get it down to zero net carbs, but
they do add in
fruit juice.
Fruit juice.
Yeah. For coloring, but it also gives us some flavor. So to me, it tastes like what were we just talking about?
What, the Hilltop? Or
No.
Before this started?
Yeah, before this started. Bud Light Next tastes like the the seltzers.
The LaCroix.
LaCroix, yeah.
LaCroix,
yeah. It has a wisp of citrus flavor to it.
Yep. Skip.
Yeah.
Could have named it Skip.
Yeah. Now, honestly, though, like if it has alcohol, I'd be shocked because you really don't taste it. But it's not unpleasant, but it doesn't taste like beer. Like to label it a beer is just wrong because it doesn't taste anything like beer.
No.
There's no maltiness. There's no hops at all. Not that any of these are super hopped in any way, but yeah, it's just that it's not beer.
No.
So,
I mean,
malt beverage.
To be fair, if you take it out and you just drank it, like if you just grabbed it out of the fridge, you probably wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But now with that it's lined up against all these other delicious beers, it's probably
delicious. All right.
I mean,
let's keep going. All right, Coors Light. So Coors is coming out of Colorado. A lot of history behind it. Coors Light has been around for quite a few decades. Probably came out in the late 70s or 80s, kind of like Bud Light. I don't think it came out before Miller Lite. Miller Lite was one of the first light beers. Light, spelled differently.
It says 5 grams of carbs.
Oh my god. It tastes so sugary.
Mountains aren't blue.
Do they still do that?
I don't know.
To be fair, maybe that was part of the selling point for me back in college. Maybe that's why I love Coors Light so much, because the mountains were blue. It's like, that's a cold beer. I love cold ass beer. Delicious. I don't know.
Cold ass beer. I don't know about the color blue though for college. If you know what I mean.
Go Bucks. All right, so we're moving to Michelob Ultra. This is, it is an Anheuser-Busch brand, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Less carbs. I mean, that's the whole selling point for Mich Ultra. This is the beer that you have after you do a marathon, or you have a nice heavy workout, according to the commercials.
The commercials, man.
Very athletic people.
These people are just running,
just jacked.
Just run to the bar, grab their Mich Ultra, and they're fine.
None of those assholes are drinking Mich Ultra. It's watered out by Bud Light, honestly.
Or it's their first Mich Ultra in like 6 months.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Or their first beer.
Yeah, beer is not keto friendly.
No.
So, yeah. Anyway, Bud Light. This is the. I mean, they say Budweiser is the king of beers, but I think Bud Light probably outsells it. So Bud Light's probably the most popular beer, at least here in the U.S. I'm not sure the world, but certainly in the U.S., everybody drinks Bud Light.
It's so good. I love Bud Light.
You said it with a straight face.
No, it's so good. Like, this is the beer that
This is the beer I grew up on.
Right.
Which sounds weird to say that I grew up on a beer, but it is, because not that I was able to drink a lot when I was a kid, but, if... by the time I was probably 16, 17, if I mowed the lawn, I was allowed to have a beer, which totally legal, at least, here in the U.S., where you could have a beer if your parents give it to you.
Yeah, if your parents let you.
Yeah, but there was, honestly, there was nothing more refreshing than a beer after mowing the lawn, especially when you push mow it. My God. We had a big lawn too.
Wait, Ray didn't have a riding lawnmower?
Not until I graduated. Seriously, he didn't have.
He's like, why would I have a riding lawnmower? I got Zane.
That's me. I'm the guy. I did that.
You're the guy.
Yeah, he just rode me. Yeah, I mean, if you had a Bud Light, if you like it, you know what you're getting. So, all right, another somewhat classic beer, Pabst Blue Ribbon. The Blue Ribbon, maybe it was award-winning at one time, but now, at least anecdotally, it's the beer of hipsters. A lot of times you can find this can. Any bar, a lot of bars where some of these beers might be $5, $6, you can still get a pint can of PBR for $3, or on tap. A lot of places do that because it's considered the cheap one. But I think it certainly holds up to all the beers up here.
Yeah. It's also my wife's beer of choice.
Is it?
If there's PBR on tap, that's what she's going to get.
Yeah, fair enough. There's nothing wrong with PBR. I do think it has a little bit more flavor than Bud Light. Certainly Michelob Ultra, and even Coors. I actually like PBR. I don't really buy it. I never have it really in the house. But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking for a cheap beer when we're out, I'll go with PBR. All right, so next up, out of Columbus Brewing Company here in Columbus, this is the Pils German style Pilsner.
This is from
CBC.
Okay.
They make my favorite IPA, which is actually a double IPA, the Bodhi or Bodhi. Haven't quite figured out how to say it. I think it's Bodhi.
Bodhi, yeah.
Yeah, but I really love that beer. But we did sample this briefly before we started. It's a little bit more hopped.
Yeah.
Of all these, this might actually be my favorite. I don't know, like I said at the beginning, if this is as sessionable because of the higher hops. Not that it's bitter, but it's certainly more citrusy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, the Columbus, the CBC IPA, not the Bodhi, but the IPA.
Oh, yeah, the regular IPA.
I mean, this is just a step under there on the hops.
Yeah, I'd be interested if it lists the IBU on it. Talk while I do this. Fill time. It is a little higher. Actually, this is 5.2%. IBU is not listed, so I would be interested to know.
I bet it's somewhere that you can get it.
Yeah, it's good though. I enjoy it.
Right.
Last but not least,
oops.
So I maybe bumped the mic.
Yeah, whoops. Yuengling.
Yeah, this is now. I feel like this is more nationwide, or certainly a lot more regional. I'd say east of the Mississippi. I don't know about west of the Mississippi, but up until 10 years ago, this wasn't available in Ohio.
It came to Ohio while we were in college.
Yeah. I the first time
I think it was 2010 or 2011.
11 or 12. It was probably 11 because the first time I had it was 2010.
11
and I picked it up in North Carolina.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was so excited. I bought a 24 pack to bring home. They do make a Yuengling Light, right? For sure, yeah. But this is definitely more common to find. And if you've been able to see some of the color differences, this is definitely darker. So it does have slightly more roasted malts. Who knows how roasted, but definitely gives it a lot more flavor.
Yeah. When I first had the Yuengling, I noticed it was much richer than everything I'd been drinking up until that point.
This was craft beer in college.
Yeah, it was.
I think we talked about on the Irish beers during it was Killian's. Killian's, because I bought that in college a lot. That was my craft beer.
Yep.
So obviously,
there's more craft beers than you could ever try.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was 10 beers. What was your favorite?
Bud Light.
Yeah?
Yeah, Bud Light's my favorite.
It is a classic. I like I said, I grew up on Bud Light, and by that I mean like, you know, teenage years. But like Coors is still one of my favorites. If I ever buy a 12-pack of beer, if we're going camping or something, I usually would buy Coors. Yuengling though is still up there for me, but I think, quite honestly, like my favorite of these, and it's new for me, is the CBC Pils.
The Pils?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one. It was a little too hoppy for me.
I think that's why I love IPAs. I don't know if I could sit around a fire and drink 3 or 4 IPAs, honestly. But I think I could probably do that with that, because it's not as hopped, a little more citrusy.
Yeah, it was good.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Thank you for watching another episode of the Barley Lads. Today we've been drinking a lot of lager and pilsners, and hopefully you got something out of this. But you've probably had most of these before. Yep. So, yeah.
Cheers. Have a great summer.
Cheers.